Rahim. Welcome, my dear senior one, to continue our discussion about interaction of genes. Today, inshallah, we are going to study complementary genes. After we have studied the lack of dominance and we have studied the blood group, studying the inheritance of the human blood group. And now we are going to study another example of interaction of genes, which is called complementary genes. Here we have another non-Mendelian trait. We have another non-Mendelian trait, which is controlled by another way, different from Mendel laws. Different from Mendel laws. If you remember the basis of inheritance, which Mendel said that every trait is controlled by two genes. One of them is dominant and one of them is recessive. But here, this is in Mendel. This base found in Mendel rules in complete dominance. But we have here complementary genes who are different from Mendelian inheritance because we have these traits, the complementary traits, are controlled by two pairs of genes, not one pair only, but two pairs of genes. Okay, this inheritance depends on two pairs of genes for one trait, two pairs of genes, yani 4 genes for one trait only. The emergence of the dominant character depends on the presence of a dominant gene at least in one pair of these two pairs. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني for example, if we have this plant, the pea flower plant, we have two different colors of the flower. We have pink flower and white flower. Pink and white. The pink gene dominant over the white gene. The pink is dominant over the white gene. Okay, so we give pink a capital letter and we give white a small letter. But if we are going to say that an individual has a pink flower, its genetic structure, the phenotype pink, it has many genetic structure. Not one pair of genes, but it is two pairs of genes. We have, for example, it may be A capital, B capital, B capital. This will be pink. Also, A capital, B capital, B small. This one also is pink. Also, A capital, A small, B capital. This one is also pink. Okay. We have three examples now of the pink flower plant. The plant which has a pink flower, it may have the two pairs are dominant, A capital, dominant, A capital, dominant, B capital, dominant, B capital, dominant. So the 4 genes are dominant. Here we have the pink flower appear. One pair must have a dominant gene. One pair must have a dominant gene at least. So we have here A capital, B capital, B small. We have B capital here in the second pair. So it is pink. A capital here and here we have also pink because we have one dominant gene at least. But if we have A capital, B capital, we have two dominant genes here. Does it become white or pink? This one become white. The white flower plant has one pair, doesn't have any dominant gene. This will be white flower plant. So the pink flower plant contain at least one dominant gene at each pair. So we have here the two pairs are dominant. It is pink. One pair dominant, and here the second pair, it has one dominant gene. It is pink. Two pairs dominant and one pair has one dominant gene, so it will be pink. If the dominant gene disappear in one pair like this, it will be what? It will be white, because we don't have the pink in one pair. It will be what? It will be white flower plant. Right. Another example of white flower plant. A capital, B small, will be white. Why? We don't have the dominant gene in this pair. Right. Another example of white flower plant. A capital, a small, B capital, B small. You have here also absence of the dominant gene. So there is no dominant gene here, so it will be white. In this pair, there is no dominant gene. Okay? So we have many possibilities for the white plant and many possibilities for the pink plant. The white plant can come. The white plant can come if there is absence of the dominant gene in any pair of the two pairs. The white comes when there is absence of the dominant gene in one pair of the two pairs. So the first one is white. This one is white because there is no dominant gene here. The second one is white because there is no dominant gene here. The third one is white because there is no dominant gene here. Okay? And if it was A small, B capital, B small, also it will be white. There is absence of the dominant gene in this pair. So the white can be having this genotype. The pink can have these genotypes. If you want to be pink, you must have one gene at least in each pair. One gene at least in each pair. Okay, one dominant gene in each pair to say that this is a pink flower. So how many genes here control this trait? It is two pairs, not one pair only. It is two pairs, not one pair only. So we call it a non-Mendelian trait. A non-Mendelian trait. Why? What is the difference between this way of inheritance and the Mendel inheritance? The difference here, we have two pairs of genes control the hereditary trait, not one pair only like a Mendel's. Okay, let's study an example of this. To be clear, we have to study an example. We have here A capital, B small. Is it pink or white? Is it pink or white?
It's white.
White. Of course, it is white. Why it is white? There is absence of the dominant gene in this pair. In the second pair, there is absence of the dominant gene in this pair. There is no dominant gene in this pair, so it will be white. Type. Here we have A small, B capital. Is it white or pink?
White.
White, of course, because there is absence of the dominant gene in this pair. Type. The gametes G1, this is P1. White with white flower plant and white flower plant. In the gametes, we have here one possibility only. A capital, B small, one from A and one from B. It will be A capital, B small. And here one possibility only, A small, B capital. When we make F1, we have one possibility only. What is the possibility? A capital, A small, B capital, B small. This will mate with this, okay? Type. Is it white or pink?
Pink.
Pink. Here, two white give one pink. The two white parents give pink. This is different, completely different from Mendel. Two white parents give you pink. This is not found at all in Mendel. If two individuals have a recessive trait, they cannot give you a dominant trait at all in Mendel law. In the complete dominance, of course, the recessive will give you recessive. But how can two recessive traits give you one dominant trait? So it is different from Mendel. It is a non-Mendelian trait. Because if you have the pea plant, the normal pea plant, and you have two white plants, two white flower plants, they will give you 100% white plants. But how can this happen? How can two white give you pink? Of course, there is an interaction of genes. There is a complementary genes. Different from Mendelian inheritance. Different from Mendelian inheritance. So now we are going to make a new generation by these two new individuals. We'll have B2, A capital, A small, B capital, B small. We have two parents, A capital, A small, B capital, B small. And we'll see what is the percentage in the second generation. You will see it will be 9 to 7, not 1 to 3 to 3 to 9. 9, 3, 3, 1 in Mendel. If you remember, 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 in Mendel's second law. But we have here 9 to 7. We'll see now how it comes. We'll see now how this percentage comes. We can see here this table. We make gametes. We have 4 possibilities of gametes. The first possibility, A capital comes with B capital. The second possibility, A capital comes with B small. The third possibility, A small comes with B capital. The fourth possibility, A small comes with B small. And the 4 here also the same. The 4 here also the same, A capital, B capital, A capital, B small, A small, B capital, and A small, B small. Here we can make the result by joining this G gamete with this gamete. You will have A capital, B capital, B capital. Is it pink or white?
White.
A capital, B capital, B capital.
Pink.
All of genes are dominant. A pink or white?
Pink.
Of course it is pink. Of course it is pink. All genes are dominant. Type A capital, B capital, B small. One dominant in
White.
each. Here we have A capital, here we have B capital. So it will be what?
White.
Why? We have one dominant here and one dominant here. So it will be what?
White.
It will be pink. Why it will be pink? Because we have one dominant here, B capital, and we have dominant here. 2 are dominant. So we have a gene, dominant gene in each pair. Okay. This one will be what? A capital,
Okay.
A small, capital, B small.
The pink.
Pink, because we have one dominant here and one dominant here. Okay.
Okay.
Next one. A capital, A small, B capital, B small.
Pink.
Pink, of course, because we have also one dominant in each one. You have here A capital, B capital, B small.
Pink. Pink.
Pink, of course. And we have here A capital, B small, B small. We have 2 dominant genes in one pair. This will be what? White, because the dominant genes are in one pair, not in the 2 pairs. So one pair here, we have no dominant gene in this one. In this pair, we have no dominant gene, so it will be Y. Type A capital A small, B capital B small. We have two dominant genes, but each one in one pair. Here, one dominant in this pair, and one will be pink, of course. This one?
White.
This one? White, of course. Because we have B small, B small. We have here, A capital?
Pink.
Pink, of course. What do we have here?
What? Pink.
Pink, of course, because we have one dominant at each pair. And what do I have here?
White. White.
White, very good. White because B capital, but A small. The two A genes are small. Okay, A small also?
White.
White, very good. And next?
Pink.
Pink, of course. The next?
White.
White.
Pink.
لا لا
White,
وايت
sorry.
فكري كويس هتلاقي بي سمول بالتالي تبقى وايت صح؟ هنا
White.
white, very good. And the last one is
White.
white. Is it easy? So if you count,
Yeah.
you can see that there is 9 pink and 7 white. The percentage or the ratio will be 9 pink and we have 7 white. This is different, of course, different from a Mendelian inheritance. Of course, it is different, completely different from Mendel inheritance. It is a complementary genes. It is this different ratio due to the interaction of genes. This interaction of genes is called complementary genes. Complementary gene. So it is different, completely different from Mendel inheritance. Completely different from Mendelian inheritance. We have another example of interaction of genes which is called lethal genes. Lethal genes. الجينات المميتة. القاتلة. Lethal genes. These genes different from Mendel also. We have dominant and recessive, okay, but it is different from Mendel. You will see why it is different from Mendelian inheritance. We'll know why it is different from Mendelian inheritance. Sometimes there is some genes cause distribution of some vital processes in the living organism, and cause the death of this living organism in a certain time of the life or a certain stage of the life. Again, some genes are deadly or lethal genes. Why they are lethal? Because these genes, if they found in a dominant state or in a recessive state, they can cause disturbance in the vital processes in the living organism. Okay, and they can cause the death of the living organism in a certain stage of his life. تعال نفهم الكلام ده اكتر ونشوف الكلام ده يحصل ازاي. مثلا لو اتكلمنا عن الدومينانت ليثال جينز، في عندي نوعين من الليثال جينز. Types of lethal genes, dominant lethal genes and recessive lethal genes. Dominant lethal genes like the gene of the yellow color of the mouse. The yellow color of the mouse. Did you see a yellow mouse before? Adult yellow mouse? It is rarely to see a yellow mouse, صح? Rarely. You can see a white mouse. You can see a gray mouse or a black. But it is rarely to see a yellow mouse. Why? Because the yellow color of the mouse is deadly or lethal. It is dominant, deadly or dominant lethal gene. How? When the two genes are yellow, they cause the death of the mouse. They cause the death of the mouse. They stop some biological functions and they cause the death of the mouse. When they are two dominant genes together. يعني الليثال جينز دايما بيكون pure. Always the lethal genes are pure. لما مش هيعمل الديس دوت it cannot cause the death without they are pure. ممكن بيورو دومينانت، ممكن بيورو ليه وريسيسيف. طب تعالى نتكلم عن بيورو دومينانت. قال لي الجين بتاع اليلو كولر اوف ذا ماوس، the yellow color of the mouse لما يجتمعوا مع بعض الدومينانت يلو مع الدومينانت يلو ده بيعمل ايه؟ it causes the death. يعني الفيرست كيس ده this mouse will die. This mouse will die in the uterus of the mother. أثناء البريجنسي. During the pregnancy, this mouse will die because it has two deadly genes, two lethal genes, capital genes. They are dominant lethal genes. طيب أنا عندي Y capital Y small. ده يلو ولا وايت؟ ده يلو.
yellow.
Y capital Y small برضه يلو. طيب الجاميتس بتاعتنا الجي Y capital أو Y small، وهنا Y capital أو Y small. البوسيبيليتيز بتاعتي ممكن يكون Y capital Y capital وده يبقى يلو بس die due to the lethal genes are pure. The lethal genes come together. The two lethal genes come together. Y capital come with Y capital, so it is deadly. It causes the death of this rat or mouse in the uterus of the mother. And we have Y capital Y small. It is yellow also, but it is impure. It is hybrid. It is yellow, but it is hybrid, so it will leave. And we have Y capital Y small, also yellow. And we have finally, we have Y small, which is a gray. طيب, Y capital will die. What is the percentage? Is it the same percentage of Mendel? No. We have two yellow and one gray. Is it the same like Mendel? No, Mendel says 3 to 1. We have here 2 to 1. Where is the third one? The third one, we have in Mendel 3 to 1. But one is dead. So the 3 become 2. The 3 becomes 2. 2 yellow and 1 gray. So we have here another percentage different from Mendel. So we have here another way of inheritance called the lethal genes due to the interaction of genes, the interaction of the lethal genes. Right. We have also another way of lethal genes, but they are recessive. Recessive. When the two genes come in recessive state, they cause the death of the living organism. Like what? Like the color of the plant. There is a gene controls the presence of chlorophyll in the plant. There is a gene responsible for appearance of chlorophyll in the plant. The chlorophyll absorbs sunlight and helps the plant to make food by absorbing sunlight. The chlorophyll absorbs sunlight and makes the plant make food by photosynthesis process. So the plant can live. The plant can grow and make photosynthesis and can live because it can make its food. But in corn plants, there is a recessive gene. We call it C. This recessive gene, if it is found in this state, two small genes or two recessive genes, it will cause the death. It will cause the death of the plant. Why? Because when they come together recessive like this, the plant will not have chlorophyll. The absence of chlorophyll, the two recessive come together, there is no chlorophyll will be formed. So we have here C capital C small, the plant can make, this plant is green. And the C capital C small, this plant is green, it has chlorophyll. This plant also has chlorophyll. امتى يبقى has no chlorophyll? When the C small come with C small, when the two recessive genes come together. طيب. The gametes here we have C capital and C small. C capital and C small. Right, what do we have here? If this come with this, it will be C capital, and it will be green. If this come with this, it will be C capital, C small, it will be green. C small come with C capital, it will be green. But C small come with C small. In this case, what do we have? We have here a lethal gene. We have a lethal gene come together. Two lethal genes come together. And this plant will be white. There is no chlorophyll. This plant will die. After some time, the plant will die. Why it dies? Why this plant will die? Because the absence of a chlorophyll. It doesn't contain chlorophyll, so it will die due to the absence of chlorophyll. So this plant will die due to the lethal gene, the recessive lethal gene. Okay? The ratio here will be what? The percentage will be 3 to 0. 3 green to 0 white. So it is different completely from Mendel inheritance. We have finished this part of the lesson. The effect of the environmental conditions on the action of some genes. The environment has some effects on the action of genes. How come? For example, the absence of oxygen or the absence of suitable temperature or exposure to rays, radiation. All of this can cause the interaction of genes, and they can cause the effect on the gene. The gene cannot make its job in a perfect way. We have here modern researchers have proven that the action of some genes is affected by the factors surrounding in the living organism, such as the air pollution, the oxygen deficiency, shortage of oxygen, the exposure to rays or radiation. These environmental factors, as the light and the heat also. The light also and the heat can cause the effect on the genes. They can work in a good temperature. In a certain temperature, the gene can work better in a certain temperature. And the gene, and the presence of light, the gene can work. And sometimes if there is a gene but there is no light, the gene cannot work. For example, the gene of the presence of chlorophyll. It must be light for this gene to make its job. The light, the effect of light on the appearance of chlorophyll character in the green plants. The gene responsible for chlorophyll formation in the green plants need light factor to show its effect. So if a plant grows without light, does it become green? Does it absorb sunlight? It will not absorb sunlight because there is no light at all. So the gene will not make its job. The gene will not make its job in perfect way due to the absence of light. So the effect of the environmental conditions is very important for genes to do their functions. The effect of the environmental conditions are very important for the genes to do their functions. Let's go to some exercise on this lesson. Let's answer these questions, Ruqayya. Are you with me?
Yes, Mister.
Let's read the first question.
A blood group contains antigen A and antigen B.
Antibody A and antigen B. بنكتشف الموضوع ده منين؟ الانتيجين بيبقى على نفس السيم نيم اوف ذا جروب. الانتيجين بيبقى بنفس اسم البلاد جروب. يبقى الجروب بلاد جروب دي ايه؟
B.
جروب B. Of course. Thank you. The next question. A blood group is devoid, يعني doesn't contain, devoid of antibodies, and called the universal receiver. Can receive from any other blood group. Which blood group?
AB.
Yeah, very good. Group AB. Of course. Very good. Doesn't contain any antibodies and it is universal receiver or recipient. Type. Antigen in the blood present in 85% in human beings. You remember?
Antigen B.
No. In 85, it is RH positive. You remember?
Okay. Oh.
RH positive found in most people. RH positive. This antigen different from antigen A and different from antigen B, but it is found in the most of people have RH positive. Okay.
Okay.
Next question. A genetic case controlled by a pair of genes, no one of them dominant over the other, but they interact together to emerge a new character. What is the name of this inheritance? One pair, but no one is dominant. No one is dominant.
Lack of dominance.
Very good. Lack of dominance. Of course. Very good. Right, let's go to number 5. Genes, when present in a pure state, cause the distribution of the growth of and the causing and the seizing the life at different stages of the age, almost 1/4 of the offspring, can cause the death of the living organism. What is that?
Lethal gene.
Lethal genes. Very good. Lethal genes. Very good. Of course. Type. Choose. The inheritance of blood group includes multiple alleles, complete dominance, lack of dominance, all the previous. Blood group فيها ايه؟
All the previous.
All the previous, of course. Very good. ده فيها complement، فيها dominant, complete dominant، وفيها lack of dominant، وفيها multiple alleles. Very good. Number 2, from examples of lack of dominance, the color of the flower in the plant, pea flower, pea vegetable, antennum, all the previous. You remember? Lack of dominance in which plant?
Pea vegetable.
No. Antennum. Pea, we have pea flower. This one has complementary genes. And the pea vegetable, it has the Mendelian inheritance complete dominance. The pea vegetable, complete dominance. The pea flower, lack of dominance. Like in the antennum is a the antennum lack of dominance. The antennum lack of dominance.
Okay.
Pea vegetable, we have a complete dominance, Mendelian inheritance. Like in pea flower, it has complementary genes. Okay, but antennum has a lack of dominance. Number 3, the genotype which leads to the emergence of a red color in pea flower plant. Red. Which one make red in pea flower؟ عارفه طبعا. remember pea flower ده احنا بنتكلم عن ايه؟ pea flower احنا بنتكلم عن complementary. Which is genetic structure give you pink or red? Which one?
A capital A small, B capital B small.
Very good, of course. Excellent. لأن لا one pair must be one gene and each pair must be dominant. Very good. طيب, let's move to number 4, the last question. The percentage of negative rhesus factor individuals, how much percent in the human?
15.
15%. Thank you, Ya Ruqayya. You are excellent. We'll stop here. Inshallah, we'll continue in the next time. I hope you to summarize and solve many questions about this part of the inheritance which you have studied. Please try to summarize what we have studied today. Thank you and goodbye. Assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام.